When I think of a radio talk show host, I think of this woman, this wonderful woman. I mean, she has several talk shows and has had many talk shows, including Raising the Vibration, a global movement created to make the earth a kinder, gentler, and more peaceful place for everyone. She is an artist, a humanist, a spiritualist. She is Sheena Metal.
Hello, my friend.
Oh, hello, hello.
Good to see your beautiful face.
Oh, likewise, as my dad would say, ditto. And I was thinking about you this morning and thinking I'm going to get to see you because I really haven't seen you in a long time. And
I haven't seen anybody in a long time.
I know, none of us have. But I started tearing up because
I miss you.
Well, I miss you. And you have an energy about you that really makes people feel welcome.
Thank you.
And so that's why you're Sheena Metal. I love it.
You know, I always laugh that if I believed in having a tombstone, which I don't, I would hope it would just say on it, you know, here lies Sheena, she was nice. I mean, I think that we sometimes underestimate the simple things in life, like just be nice, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. God, we need that right now. And hopefully it's shifting. It's shifting.
Coming, baby.
It's coming.
The ethers are shifting and the veil is lifting.
Be ready for the nice.
Here it comes. The nice is coming. The age of the age of Aquarius.
Aquarius. That's me, baby.
That's right.
What made you want to be a talk show host? Love being a talk show host?
You know, I had no idea I wanted to be a talk show host. I was an actor, and for lack of better things to do in the 80s, when women who didn't look like a Barbie doll really worked, everybody said, oh, you'll work when you're 40, come back then. The problem was I was 21. So I created a television show for myself based on a one-woman show I had done of characters. And it was about this crazy heavy metal chick named Sheena Metal. And I guess I was being a talk show host then, not knowingly, because I did interview people, but it wasn't really an interview until the whole thing was scripted. And then at the end, I would interview a band, and that was unscripted.
Right.
And then it got picked up by a production company that was going to produce it for television, and it was the best day of my life. And the next day, we had a little earthquake in Northridge, and the studio got destroyed. And they called me and said, look, we may be out of business. It's a $20 million rebuild. It's going to be at least 2 years. And I suddenly thought, well, this is what I've worked for my whole life. And now it's gone. And I have no idea what to do. And that next day, a guy that I knew who was also doing a local cable show.
Yeah.
His was kind of like a Hollywood talk show, Entertainment Tonight kind of thing. He called me up and he said, I do this radio show on an AM station, 2:00 in the morning on Sunday. I have a new girlfriend. She hates that we can't go out of town on the weekends. Do you want my show for a night? Enjoy it. They'll probably fire you the next day. So I was an actor, right? And we were taught to say yes. So I said, sure, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And I went down. I brought a couple of friends of mine as co-hosts. I let everybody I knew in the music community from the TV show know that I'm going to have this show tonight. Call in, talk about your band. I thought no one would call. We got down there. The phone lines were lit up. I woke up the next morning having really fallen in love with it and believed it was a destiny of mine and thought, oh, great, I'm going to get the phone call. They're going to fire me. Sure o'clock Monday morning, the phone call came in. And they said, do you want twice as much time? You don't have enough time to accommodate all your phone calls. So that was it. And that was this week, actually, is my 26th radio anniversary. And normally, right, my friend, we would be celebrating at the Hollywood Improv this week.
Oh, right.
There is no anything happening right now. So we're celebrating here.
Yeah.
You and me. And that's it. And I guess by the second week, I knew I was in love. I mean, by the second week, I knew. I always say that there are only really 3 times in life that I feel sort of like, for lack of a better term, the hand of God touched my head. And it was the first time I stepped on a stage as an actor, the first time I sat behind a microphone as a talk radio host, and when I made the shift in my life to founding the Raising the Vibration movement. And I think those are really, in my life's work, sort of the three distinct parts of my life, that the three times that I feel like I've sort of upgraded my life. And it took a while to let go of, but wait a minute, aren't I just an actor? And can I also be this thing? And what about the characters I always played? And now people are seeing me as me, and I'm having to talk. When I first started in radio, I thought, I'm not going to say a thing about my personal life, because I grew up Irish and very private. My mother was a very private person. My parents were Depression era people. But then, you know, after a couple of weeks, what are you going to talk about? So you start talking about yourself. And, you know, when we were coming up as actors, David, we were taught nobody wants to know about your life, what you think. They just want your characters to speak for you. So it took me, now life is very different, but it took me a long time in the late 90s when I started to learn that it was okay to talk about myself and how I felt. And now I think we know that shift in radio from the good morning, you're listening to WLPL in Baltimore, where it was all scripted, to talk hosts and radio hosts really talking about themselves, was kind of the beginnings of social media and people starting to talk about themselves. And we're learning that people talking about how they feel about things is really something that majorly heals the world, because we're all in this together, right? We're one human family. And we all work off of each other's energies. So it's nice when you type in something like a TV show you like, or you know, kind of food you like, or something you've seen in the news, and go on a Twitter or Facebook and see how many other people that's also affected, and they're talking about it too. Yeah. And I think that's changed the whole world. And we're seeing now that actors, right, those of us that were taught never to talk about how we felt, are now the ones that are oftentimes our opinions and our love and our passion is what's sort of fueling the world along sociologically and spiritually and politically. And so who knew all along, people did want to know what actors thought. Right. So, you know, so I mean, I think that spreading of the message, I always say that I feel sort of like I'm a sponge. The guests come on and they speak through me, and my job is just to interpret the messages out to the listening audience. Right. And that's the best thing in the world. The guests are the stars, and I'm just sort of the thing that holds it all together.
Well, you know? And you do it so well, and through you, whether it's in the radio station or whether it's on the stage at the Hollywood Improv. Sure. Those, I mean, people would wait. When's the next one, Sheena? When's the next? Right. They're so great.
Yes. Yeah, and I have no answer for that, because I don't know when they're going to let us out of our houses. But I would imagine soon, when we all come out again. Yeah, I love it, and I love and that was before I really knew that I was going to start teaching, or that I would start motivational speaking, or that I would become a minister, as I have an interfaith minister, and start holding gatherings for Raising the Vibration. And who knew all of those things? It all started with talk radio, and I think. One of the things I always tell when I speak with actors, and I have with you at Myth the Bids and at Performing Arts Studio West, is that it's as an actor, you can't think of yourself as a straight line. You have to think of yourself as a circle, and all the possibilities of the things that you can do. And just because you say, well, I can't write, or nobody would hire me as a director, I don't know that I want to produce. You have to leave all that stuff open, because you don't know what your life is going to become as an artist. Yeah. You have no idea what's going to happen. You may think you can't sing, and then you may get cast in something where you have to sing a lot or a little, take some voice lessons or not, and then discover, guess what, I can sing. Right. So I think as actors, I think we grew up in this very limited perspective of, if you're an actor, then you can't be anything else. And musicians that dared to act, or actors that dared to do music, it was this shocking thing. Now it's just everybody does everything. Right. Thank you, the Disney Channel, for that. And I really believe that it's important for actors to think of themselves as artists. Yes. And an artist is a 360 of all these different things you might be able to do, and not limit yourself, because
and you think, you look back at also, with Streisand and Margaret, and I mean, they did it all. They sang, they danced, they,
Absolutely.
acted.
Liza Minnelli. My mama used to say that Liza Minnelli was one of the best actresses out there and that she was so underrated because she had pathos. She
All
used
right.
to say that when you watch Liza Minnelli in something, you could actually feel everything her character was feeling.
Right.
And so this idea that, look, Sting, right, turned out to be a great actor. Harry Connick Jr., a great actor. I think that
Diana
if you
Ross.
are an artist, a great actress, if you're an artist, I think you have that flame inside of you to make art. And art can be anything. It can be radio, it can be acting, it can be producing somebody else's thing, it can be comedy, it can be, you know, painting or sculpting, or it's all art. And now we have these wonderful, you know, social media platforms and YouTube and TikTok, and where people can go out now and do absolutely anything they want and just try it. If you don't like it, delete it. But don't stop trying new things.
Yeah.
Because art is magic, and those of us that have that desire in us for art, we just need to keep making art. It doesn't matter, you know, what we're doing. We just need to be doing something.
I think especially at this time too.
Sure.
This is really, it feeds us right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how lucky there was a time, right, when we were actors only in the 80s and the 90s, when if something like this quarantine had happened, there would have been nothing for us to do this whole time but sit by the pool and complain we weren't acting. You know, now, I mean, that sounds like a pretty good life, just sitting by the pool complaining. But
if
now,
you have a pool.
exactly right. But now so many people, this is their time where they are writing and creating content. And I tell all of my clients in my spiritual practice, now's the time. Write your novel, write your screenplay, put your YouTube channel together, create a little web series with you as the star, and start doing it, because we're all just probably sitting around till the end of the year. Why not do something? You know, I built a website. I'm the worst artist in the world. I can't even draw a stick person. Like, I draw a heart and people say, what is that? Is that a raccoon? What is it?
It's art.
One day, I just decided that my whole life I had waited for some magic person to create my website, and it wasn't happening. And I went to a free platform, Wix, and I looked at it, and I saw a place where I could upload a banner. And I thought, oh, well, I have a banner somebody made for me. And then I just typed in a title, and now I have this really amazing spiritual website that I created myself. And now I'm going to go back and do one for my nonprofit. Then I'm going to go back and do one for my entertainment career. But once you start, it's so easy. It's just those barriers that tell you you can't do it that we need to push out of the way.
Right. Yeah, I could keep talking to you, just you and me, and you know, for hours. But and we have two amazing students, and not just students at Performing Arts Studio West. They are they're actors. They're writers, they're advocates. We have Mark Pulver, who is an author and an actor. We also have Kaylee Versfeld, who is an advocate and entrepreneur, and I don't want to even limit with those words. So beautiful. I am going to step away from the position and have Sheena now be the interviewer.
I can do that. All right, good.
I know you
just
can.
Needs to give me the heads up when we need to wrap it up, because I will talk all day. So I'm used to doing 4-hour interviews. So just pop in when we're done and let me know, my friend.
I'll just go 10.
Exactly.
10 minutes.
All right, that's good. Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. It's been a while to see you again. You know, it's terrific as always.
It's so good to see you. I'm giving you a virtual hug. It's not so much fun when I don't get to hug
you. Yeah. There you
Yay! Go. Good to see you, sweetie. So tell me, David introduced you as an advocate and an entrepreneur. So what do those things mean to you? Why do you pick? I'm always fascinated with why people pick certain words to describe themselves.
Ugh, that's toughie. Well, I feel kindness is contagious throughout my t-shirt business called Types of Kindness.
Beautiful.
And I go out to public speak as well. And thank you, David.
I know. That's her shirt.
Oh wow!
That's my
Okay.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Speaking of that, thank you, David, for sharing that. You just made my day. Namaste to you.
Namaste.
Oh, beautiful. Namaste. Oh, you picked out a nice spiritual girl for me. I'm loving this, David. Beautiful.
But other than that, I just put my hard work into my dedication for the public.
Sure.
I'm spreading diversity and acceptance and inclusion. And that's how I became a public figure to my community for that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You talked about kindness earlier, right?
Yes.
I was talking when David was interviewing me earlier about how I hope that someday if I had a tombstone, it would say, "Here lies Sheena, she was nice." I think we underestimate the importance of kindness, right? I mean, I think we almost think kindness is just something everybody should just know how to be kind, so we shouldn't even talk about it. But a lot of people, right, don't know how important it is to be kind. So how do you help inspire other people to be kinder?
How to help people to be kinder? Well, you gotta treat each other with respect and dignity.
Yeah.
And like I even have a quote that says that respect is the new R word. Because a lot of people sometimes cause us that. I still get caught by that, not every day.
Sure.
But like everybody gotta be respectful and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, right? My mom used to always say it's just as easy to be nice. She used to say it's harder to not be nice because it's really in our nature to be nice. So it's just as easy to be a nice person. Why not do that? And I talk a lot about, I have a peace movement, the peace, love, kindness, unity movement. And I talk about how kindness is sort of the lost word in there sometimes. That if we all just like changed our life by 5% and did more kind things, right? A couple extra thank yous, a couple extra you're welcomes, hold a door for someone, tip a little extra, smile 10 times more at people. The whole world did that at once, right? It would be like an explosion of kindness that would literally change the face of the world. And it would just take one day to do it. Just one day, everybody getting kinder. And so I applaud you for being somebody who is working to make the world a kinder place, and to using through your advocacy, because I too am an advocate for many of the communities I'm a part of, to use your advocacy to raise the positive in the world, and not to do it through being angry or being bitter. Or, I mean, it's easy to get angry when you see communities that you love being treated not the way you want them to be treated. But I think that you know, love inspires more love, kindness inspires more kindness, peace inspires more peace. If you approach something angrily, I think it just brings more anger. And so I think the way that you're saying, look, we all should have respect and dignity for one another, but we're going to do it in a way that's kind, I think is so important, sweetheart, because we need to bring more nice into the world and more love. How do you feel about love? When you think about kindness and love, do they kind of go hand in hand for you?
I've been taught I'm kind-hearted together, because I've been taught that many times, especially from David too. But yes, together, because we gotta make peace together. We gotta help each other. Like if somebody falls down, you fall back with them and help them back up. And that's the beauty of helping people as well. Because if you see someone like that, you'd be like, oh, wow, I had a moment, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first went to teach at Performing Arts Studio West, David said, just be prepared. You're going to get a lot of hugs. And I thought, isn't that sad that we have to prepare people sometimes for how many hugs they're going to get? Because I think the more hugs, the better. I mean, I think, great, there's a lot of hugs. That's a bonus.
Oh, that's one of the things I miss most about going in, you know?
Oh, God, me about being there the couple times I've been there, I miss it. Yeah. Hugs are healing, you know? Hugs, you literally heal yourself with hugs. And there's, you know, that scientific experiment that I love that says that, you know, your cells in your body actually change depending on the kindness and love that you are given or the anger and hatred that you are given. So I really believe that when we get hugs and when we love each other, when we're kind to each other, that it actually really changes us. It makes us happier people, but it also makes us healthier people.
Right.
I mean, hugs are all there are. So the fact that this is sort of your work for the earth, sweetheart, that you are spreading kindness and love and encouraging people to have respect and dignity for each other, I think that's beautiful.
Sheena, I have one question of you, which
yeah.
just popped in my head.
Sure.
Since we are in quarantine right now,
right,
and you know, we're used to getting hugs all the time.
right,
Since we can't get those actual hugs right now, how can we get that energy, that hug energy?
It's like when we talked about doing a virtual hug earlier.
Right.
You have to sort of imagine that. You know, when I do my my interfaith service, we have a thing called passing of the peace, love, kindness, and unity, which with an actual people there during the service, people get up and they shake hands and hug with people they don't know, and you meet people, and they always say, make a friend. When you leave today, make a friend. Yeah. So now that we do it virtually and there's no congregation and there's no audience, I tell people, okay, we're going to take a little break. And while I'm speaking, I want each of you to email or text or call like 10 people you know and just say hello and reach out to people that are in the chat room right now, reach out to people who are on Facebook that you don't know, and make a friend. Because there are ways to reach out. The thing about a hug is it's an exchange of energy. So you can totally do that without actually touching someone, but you have to reach out with yourself. And I think it means being a little vulnerable. And some people are uncomfortable. You get scared you're going to get hurt, or you're going to send somebody a nice text, they're not going to text you back. You know, it can be a little scary, but we all kind of have to put ourselves out there, right? Because if we don't, then we're going to live in a hugless world. And that makes me very sad. So, you know, just because you can't touch people with your body right now, you can still touch people with your soul and your mind and your heart. And we have this wonderful thing called the internet where you could literally talk to hundreds of people a day if you wanted to, probably even more if you really put some effort into it. So.
And you could go right up to your computer and say, I'm giving you a hug.
Exactly.
Okay,
there you go. That's yay, we're all hugging now. Yay. Or like do the little heart. That's beautiful. See, I can't even make a heart with my hands.
Can you do a heart?
You see why I was worried about how my website would look?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You sure can, sweetheart. How are you?
Okay, Mike, great to meet you. I just want to make sure, I didn't want to interrupt. I just want to make sure that that my camera my audio was actually working. So I'm doing great. Excellent. I'm happy to be here. Hi, this is the happiest day of my life because I'm here with you right now.
Oh, I'm honored to be here with you, my friend. And every time I do Zoom, I'm always worried something's not working and no one can see me. So it's not just you, my friend. Okay. So how are you, Mark? Tell me about what you do as an artist and what you're bringing to the world through art.
Well, I am now living here in Los Angeles on a fluke. I started writing a book in 2010.
Wow.
About my life, and I knew I had some kind of disability, but I was diagnosed with autism, living life with autism, the world through my eyes, as you can see the book, and I just instantly, it just sparked. There was a passion to spark. I'm shadowing what Kaylee does, helping, inspiring others, and I wrote this book. I've given speeches. I used to live in all over South Florida, venues, place in South Florida. I don't know if you heard of it. It's what Leaps and Bounds is in Los Angeles. It's called the Dan Marino Foundation in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where one of the Miami Dolphins' son had autism. So he opened up an organization for his son and others where they teach individuals that are neurological life learning skills, how to get a job, how to fill out an application, how to present a resume, that go out into the field and locate jobs for these individuals. and just basically teach them life's learning skills, cleaning up during laundry, basically household chores, going to the grocery store, and basically skills that you need for survival. So I did that here. I did one out in Los Angeles, and one of the directors were wowed. I gave the same speech, the same spiel there. So she introduced me to Performing Arts Studio West, but I would have to move. I went down there to talk to John Pazes, did a couple of orientations. I loved what I saw, and I said, wow, I can do so much more here in Los Angeles that I can do in South Florida. I was brought to tears watching the TV show Born This Way, to seeing some of the difficulties and the rejections. In particular, two girls, basically got rejected. It was just heartfelt. Rachel, with the fact that nobody wanted to date her, and it's just like, if I had magical powers, I would have just jumped to the screen and just taken her someplace nice for dinner. And Megan, when her boyfriend dumped her, I would have just jumped right to the screen and just given her all kinds of comfort and take her out someplace nice and just let her know, even though we're disabled, people have a tendency to put labels on us because we're disabled. And my thing is, I have, just like one of the statements is for Born This Way, don't limit me. My statement with autism is not a death sentence. It's just a roadblock. Just go down the avenue to meet your success. I mean, in my universe, there's no room for bullying. It won't be tolerated. This needs to stop for any people with disabilities, race, or creed. We were meant to live here in perfect peace and harmony, and that's me and Kaylee. We're both promoting that peace and harmony and love for all fellow men. One of my goals is my fiance has also is learning to do filming and editing. And one thing I mentioned to her, Born This Way is in Everybody's Sorry. It's just a well-loved program. Like, eventually she may move out here. My game plan is to maybe do something like that. We can film it. If the quarantine is still going on, maybe we could do it virtually, put it up on YouTube, and I bet you instantly it's going to go viral and probably get millions and millions of likes, because that show is very, very popular. And if you get a certain amount of likes on YouTube, they pay you money. So that was one of my ideas, Joe, so we could further keep this show going for the viewers who love this show. So I basically got ideas. Also, I just finished writing a second book. The second book is going to be called Living the Autism Dream, because this is what I'm doing now. And I'm also, while we're in quarantine, I wanted to do this last year, start writing a movie. And this movie, that I'm writing is about a boy who gets killed, but reincarnation into the same body. Now that I have the time that we're in quarantine, I'm still not working, and I don't know when I will be working, but we're doing things from home or wherever we are. For 4 months, I was quarantined in South Florida, and thank God that we have this, so we can all basically stay connected. So I'm on a positive roll here. I'm very, very happy, and also as last year as an Uber driver, I met two people from the Earth, Wind and Fire, a band member, and one which we're eventually going to do a Meet the Biz. He wants to do a documentary with me. Maybe I can get some others with Kaylee and the singer Sheldon Reynolds. He's in his first stage of Parkinson's. So we're looking that down the road. In addition, he called me last week there's an autism charity event in 2021 at Dodgers Stadium. Maybe she and some others can come on board and do that. So it's just like so many things that I'm working on. It's just like, what do I do next? I just want to be immersed on everything at the same time, just like Kaylee. It's just like, even though we're in quarantine, I'm busier now than I've ever been with all my achievement and goals that I want to achieve for the good of humanity. Yeah.
Beautiful. You know, all of us, all four of us, you're all kind of speak my language, because I think that there are people who just sort of want to sit back and live their life for themselves. And then there are those of us that it's really important to us to be immersed in the whole of everything in the world, and to be doing everything that we can to make the world a more beautiful place. And I love that. You know, it's interesting because I have a lot of friends on the autism spectrum, and I've taught a lot of folks on the autism spectrum. And it's, to me, I think it's, and a lot of folks that have Down syndrome as well, friends and have taught. I think it's so important that we celebrate each other's differences and we stop worrying about how different we are. Because the truth is, everybody's different. And I think the more we learn about energy, the more we learn that different people just function on a different energetic frequency. It doesn't mean that they are less than or they're not enough. It just means they're different, in the same sense that all of our singing voices are different, right? Some people sing very high and some people sing very low, but there's no right or wrong. It's just, where is the frequency of where you sing? And I think it's the same thing with our minds. Some brains are at one frequency and some brains are at another frequency, and we're all different. So I think that the more that we all kind of spread that word, right? That we are who we are. We were all born the way we are. And there's nothing less than about any of us. We're just different. And once you realize that you're just trying to figure out something different, it's like when you have a dog and a cat. In the beginning, they're like, what is this? And then they learn to get along and they're like best friends and siblings. I think if we thought of it like that as people. I have a friend, I don't know, David, if I've ever told you the story. I have a friend who works in the spiritual world, and he's a dolphin communicator. Oh, and he was doing my radio show. He talks to dolphins. And one day he was doing my radio show, and I asked him, why is it that dolphins have such wonderful success working with folks on the autism spectrum? And he said, it's because a dolphin meets you just where you're at. A human being expects you to meet them where they're at. And that we should all be more like the dolphin. And he said, that's why I like to do your radio show, Sheena, because you interview like a dolphin.
Oh, I love that.
Think we all need to be like that. Be the dolphin. Meet somebody where they're at. Don't expect somebody else to act just like you. Because none of us are the same, and none of us are just the same. And we wouldn't all want to be just the same. It would be a boring world. And I think we spend so much time worried about like who has a quote unquote disability, which I think of more like a difference. We're all different, right? We all come in different shapes and sizes. Our brains are different. Our hearts are different. Stop trying to make everybody different and start thinking of all of us as the same, and we're all doing our own thing, because the world needs all of us, right? The world can't function without all of us. So my mama used to say that the world was like a giant machine, and each one of us were little cogs and wheels in that machine. And we all had to do our own thing so the big machine ran smoothly. And if any of us felt like we weren't enough or we weren't doing our thing, we actually held up the machine. And if you think of the energy of the world, right, it flows better when we're all happier and doing our own thing. And we're all exactly as we're supposed to be. We were all put here just the way we're supposed to be. And we're all different. I challenge you to show me somebody who's not different in some way. So Mark, I love that. I love your enthusiasm. I love your energy. I love how you want to make the world a better place. Kaylee, the same thing, both of you. David, always, right? We have these discussions all the time that our whole lives are devoted towards making the world a better place. David and I go get sushi, and the whole time we just talk about how we can make the world a better place.
So yeah, sushi right now.
I know, right? Yeah, I go to the grocery store and get sushi because that's what it's come to now.
Well, you know what's so amazing about both of you? You are so, I mean, you change lives just by being you. I mean,
Yeah.
and both of you are doing so much. I mean, excuse my, what is it? Zoom pants. But
Look at you.
I
Look
have
at you.
I remember, thank you, they're swim trunks, and my legs usually look better, but these are, anyway.
Right. But we don't go out anymore.
Okay, let me see this. Isn't this, is this you?
Yes.
This,
Yes, it is. That is me. I'm on a call with an officer from the police department. Officer all the way down from downtown LA doing Special Olympics World Games when I was doing that.
Wow, you're a medal holder.
and that's your picture on there, huh?
Yes, that is me. I
Right
feel
there.
like I'm like another George Washington. Any kind of past president related. I feel like I've accomplished a lot from now. And now I'm on a coin just like they are on a dollar bill. So, and then so you guys don't see that very often. So yeah.
That's beautiful. David, can you read it? So for people that can't see it?
Oh, yeah. Do you know what it says? Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Los Angeles Police Department Special Olympics.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And David, you have that at your place. You must be special.
Well,
my mom
I have a special family.
He is really special to all of us. And
He
he's really
is
important
special,
to all
right?
of us to hold board. Like I even call him my uncle's monkey for a reason.
Yeah, what reason?
Yeah. Once they have the name, it's a part of the family, no matter what.
Uncle David. Well, and the things when I grew up,
Before you
Which
gave
I'm
up
not-
the idea that you were ever growing up, which I have.
You're right. I never did grow up. I'm Peter Pan.
Yeah.
I would love to see you as Peter Pan one of these days for Halloween.
Oh, I'd love to do that. When we get out, I'm getting some green tights.
Nice. Oh, come on, David. You know you already have green tights.
But I tell you, I have the things that when I was growing up, I used to collect the Wicked Witch of the West, which is somewhere around here. And then I still have that. And I used to collect soundtrack albums and listen to, I had Streisand posters and this and that. Now that I have changed and not that I'm not still a kid at heart, but one thing I do collect are hearts, different shaped hearts. But the things that I love the most are things like this and Mark's book. I got Mark gave me his book the other week. And so those are the things that I cherish and love. It's those the items from people who are my extended family.
Yeah. Yeah, I collect hearts too. I collect carved crystal hearts, like out of different rocks, different crystals.
Oh, I love that.
I have many. Yeah. I just can't seem to resist one when I see it in a crystal shop. I'm like, oh, I don't have this kind. Yeah, there's something about the shape of a heart and holding a heart in your hand that's very magic. I have a heart that's made out of selenite, which is a crystal that it looks like a milky quartz. It looks like salt almost.
Right.
And I sleep with it under my pillow at night, and it makes you dream better. I mean, I think that there's a magic in the shape of a heart. It's just,
Right.
there's a reason why hearts were chosen for love, right? They're a special thing.
Yeah.
I love that you collect hearts. Do you know, I used to be the same way. I used to have a lot of like kind of entertainment memorabilia and stuff. Now that I've shifted my life so much to being about the world and being about the spiritual world, I still have a lot of crystals and things like that, but I too have let go, and I'm letting go of a lot of my sort of three-dimensional world stuff for stuff that's more about the world. So I understand. I don't think it's growing up. I think it's just growing into your higher human purpose, really. I think all of us really, right? We're also, all four of us are really driven by our higher human purpose, which is to heal and make happy as many as we can.
Yeah.
You know, both Kaylee and Mark are healers, and David, you are as well, and I am as well. And, you know, some people I think are just have that gene inside of them, that flame, that drive to just heal people and make people better. Whereas I think a lot of people, and this is perfectly okay, like I said earlier, are just always thinking about how to make themselves better. They're not necessarily thinking about the world.
I think the way too, to what I've learned is by making others feel good, it comes again around to you, because then it'll make you feel good. So it'll heal both of you or all of you.
Yes, I agree. Completely agree.
What does love mean to you, Sheena?
Oh, wow. Honestly, Kaylee, love means everything to me. To me, love is, it's the way the ocean feels when you put your feet in it. It's the way it feels to hold a puppy. It's the way it feels when the sunshine hits your face. It's the way it feels when you're on stage with a bunch of people and you're all doing a play together and you're all putting your hearts and souls into this common thing. It's the way a hug feels. It's the way it feels when somebody says, you know, hey, you're great, or I love what you did, or thank you for this. It's a thank you. It's a smile. I mean, I think love is really the fuel that really runs the entire universe, and that without love, we would have nothing. So everything I do from a place of love. Everything I do, it's because of love. And I always say when I speak at my spiritual services that my true religion is love. And David's known me a long time, and I think he probably would agree with me.
I agree.
You know, so it's everything. The more love you can put into what you do, you'd be amazed what it would, what you can accomplish. It's interesting because sometimes when you learn the behind the scenes story of TV shows or movies or bands, you can actually feel the energy more you can feel more a different energy from the piece of art, the show, the film, the band, the songs, if the people that put it together have a true love for each other. When somebody is in a band and the band members all love each other, the music actually feels different. It's like if you go to a restaurant and you order the same chicken sandwich every day, and one day it's made by a chef who's putting a ton of love into it, the food actually tastes different. Love changes everything. So I think the more love we can put into everything, and the fact, sweetheart, that you're putting so much love into everything, and Mark, that you're putting so much love into everything, and David, that you always put so much love into everything. I mean, that's the easiest way that one person can change the world every day.
I love that. And also, what does awareness mean to you?
I'm sorry, sweetheart?
What does awareness mean to you?
Oh, wow. Again, it's all love and beauty. That's to me that, and connection, being really connected to who you are, being really connected to the world around you, to the people in your life, and really giving that love and getting that love back, you know. And I always say that when you're with somebody that you love, or you're having, like we're having a conversation right now, Kaylee, right? There's good energy coming out of me. It's going into you. It's coming out of you. It's going into me. And it's this beautiful circle. And if we could just do that in our lives every day with everybody in our lives, people, animals, we'd live in a much different world, you know?
That's amazing. Thank you, Sheena.
You bet, sweetheart. My pleasure.
So, Mark, you have a final question for Sheena?
Desperately seeking Mark.
Yes. How do you handle negative words? Negative. An example. When I was 16 years old, I won't say which family member, but a family member said, the only thing you know how to do is sweep the floor. You'll be nothing but a floor sweeper. Now, I ask you, do you see a broom in either one of my hands? Look at this. Look at this. I mean, that alone gave me the springboard, the trampoline, even got bouncer. I could either that would motivated me to bounce higher than their negativity. My message in one of my workshops that I give them: don't let anybody ruin your psyche with a negativity. Not even family members saying, "Oh, you're disabled. You want to act right? You want to be a doctor? What are you kidding? You're disabled." A lot of parents will do that, and parents are their kids' worst enemies, and just locking up in an institution because they don't have the passion for their kids to say, hey, they're people too, they're human beings, let me see what is in their hearts. And about, I would say, 75% of the people with disabilities can actually learn, they can grow, they can become achievers. They can find a way around their disabilities and even work to the fact that they're high functioning, that their disabilities disappear. The thing is, the brain is a muscle. And just like your bones, your cardiovascular, if you don't keep your cardiovascular going, your bones, like an athlete's, they'll stiffen up with you on you. Yep. But if you keep acting the same way with the brain, it is a muscle. You have to keep acting, even if it's watching current events. Reading is the best way to keep your mind. That'll definitely help keep you, from getting Alzheimer's. I'm not buying into all of these vitamins. Take these vitamins, take that vitamins. I'm not buying into all of that. Just basically eat right, keep yourself physically and mentally healthy. So I have no respect for those. I mean, even telling their kids that about that. But also, if you do too much the other way, it's just give them false hope. If they have a disability, by telling them, oh, you're going to be a lawyer, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an eternity. The thing is, you don't want to give somebody false hopes, that they're not able to reach their goals. You gotta keep an even keel. You gotta modify it. There's an in-between state. You just have to tell them. I mean, there is always something in their heart.
What you're bringing up is so important and is such a good question that you're asking Sheena too. And tell me if I'm right on that. How do you deal, Sheena, or how do you help people deal with those people, whether it's some people's parents are wonderful and then some people, they have difficulties, or their friends or their next door neighbors? How do you deal with the negative people? Is that pretty much the question?
Sure. Yeah, let me just say really quick before that, the idea that somebody can't become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever because they have autism, long before we knew what autism was and long before we were diagnosing people on the spectrum, people with autism were doing amazing things. My father was born in 1926. Now, knowing what we know about high-functioning autism, he most definitely was. He was a brilliant engineer, and he had a lot of difficulties as a person in his personal life, but as an engineer, he was brilliant. He has 28 patents in Washington for different things he designed as an electrical, mechanical, and aerospace engineer. Worked on a lot of exciting things, including things for NASA. So nobody told him, you're different, therefore you can't do this. Somebody just said, look, you've always been different, but you're good with this. Why don't you try this? So I think we need to make sure with folks that we don't tell them because you have a diagnosis or because you have a quote unquote disability, which I like to call a difference. You can't do this, this, or this. I mean, people write books, the gentleman that wrote My Left Foot, right, could literally move a toe and wrote books his whole life with a typewriter back in the day before computers. Look at Stephen Hawking. We can't tell people you can't do because of this. And the thing is that we inside of ourselves, Mark, to answer your question, we have to build a strong connection to us, and a strong connection to whatever we believe in as far as our spirituality, even if that's just, I love the world. We have to build a very strong connection to the earth and the world, and a very strong connection to people who love and believe in us. So when others come in and they say, you can't because you are autistic, because you have Down syndrome, because you're overweight, because you're a woman, whatever the excuse is, we have to say to ourselves, well, that's your opinion, but I don't let that affect me, because I've built this strong wall of love around me. And I know within myself, with the world, with spirit, with the people in my life, all know I can do anything. So what you're saying doesn't matter to me. And, you know, I had this wonderful actress friend, Barbara Tarbuck, who I loved. And she very suddenly passed, and I miss her to this day. The last time I saw her, I was going through a hard time with some folks. And she said to me, you know what, sweetheart, sometimes it's just them. And it got me really thinking. I think it's a wonderful way to think. When someone comes at you and says, you can't do this because of this, X, Y, and Z excuse, you're not enough, you're too much of something, you'll never make it, people with this don't get this, whatever the story is.
Yeah.
You have to think, sometimes it's just them. And what is the lack inside of them that they're worried that you're not going to ever do anything but push a broom, Mark? They should be worried about what they're going to do with their own life and their own destiny, and let you dream and wish for whatever you want. So somebody who tells you you are less than, or you're lacking in something, is somebody who's just worried that there's a lack inside of them. I mean, it's really that simple. There's an expression in the spiritual world that I love, your eyes are mirrors. And it means that when people look out and see something, sometimes they're seeing a reflection of themselves. So if people see you're not enough, they're seeing the mirrors, they're seeing I'm not enough. And they're worried there are things they can't do. So you just have to remember old Barbara Tarbuck, right? Sometimes it's just them. And you can't take it seriously, because nobody can tell you who or what you're going to be. You know who you are, and you know what you can be.